Should we be doing this now? Hello, my name is Barry and you are on the New Dig Norfolk Gardener channel, where we talk all things new dig and vegetables. So, should we be chitting our potatoes? For me, the answer is an unequivocal yes. And in this video, I'll explain to you why I think that. Probably like most of you, you're starting to get your delivery of seed potatoes. Mine actually arrived 2 or 3 days ago, and for me, now is the time to start chitting them. Now, we're going to be growing 3 different types of potato this year. The first is Casablanca, and we grew this for the first time last year, and we were really pleased with it. For our first early, you can do everything with it. You can chip it, you can bake it, you can roast it, you can boil it, you can mash it. Really is a great potato variety for a first early. And then we're going to grow our old favourite Charlotte. Charlotte, although it's a second early, actually bulks up really quite large and are great potatoes to store. And if you want to use potatoes in things like stews and things like that, you can cube them up and put them in there, and they actually won't break down. They will still stay solid. So it's a really great potato to use, and it stores really well. Indeed, we're still using our Charlotte potatoes that we harvested last year. Now, last year we grew a main crop variety called Cara, and if you're a follower of our videos, you will have seen when we harvested those and when we grew them last year, in the same day that we did with the Charlotte too. But this year we've chosen to go with Maris Piper. We like to grow a different main crop every year to, well, see what they're like, see whether we like them better, because there are many varieties of potatoes that you can try. And the Maris Piper is always recommended by a lot of the chefs that are on the television, so I'm thinking I want to find out what that's all about. And again, it's a good all-rounder potato that you can do absolutely everything with. So, potatoes are slightly different from anything else that you're going to grow, in that you don't plant them from a tiny little seed, you plant them from a seed potato. And when you look at the potato, look at one end and there doesn't appear to be many eyes on there, but if we turn the potato up the other way, you will see it's where the majority of eyes are. And that's the end that you want uppermost to chit from. And for us, we like to use things like egg boxes. And you just stand the potato in there. And you do the same with each and every potato that you pick up. So for the purposes of this video, the terms sprouting and chitting mean exactly the same thing. Depending on where you are in the country, people have different terminology. And sprouting, as I say, means exactly the same as chitting. What you're doing is you're bringing the potato into life a little bit earlier, and that will actually hasten the harvest by a couple of weeks. And if you're like me, I like to try and crop my areas at least twice a year, 3 times if I can get away with it. And by having that harvest that little bit earlier, so in the case of something like the Casablanca first earlies, they're probably going to be ready for harvest sometime in May. And then by the time I've enjoyed all of those, we're going to be somewhere towards the end of June. That gives me an opportunity to plant something else in their place and to get another harvest from that piece of land during the autumn and winter period. I always think to myself that, well, they've been delivered now, why would you not chit? If you just leave them in their bags and in your house, what they're going to do, they're going to produce long, white, spindly shoots. And you've probably seen this if you've bought potatoes from a supermarket or from a farmer's market, and after a while when they've been there, you go to them and they have all these white spindly shoots. Now they won't do any good. If you do suddenly find that your potatoes have long white spindly shoots, just rub them off and then start the chitting process, and you will get the ones what we want, which is nice green shoots. These green shoots want to be about 3/4 of an inch long, 1.5 centimeters. That's just the right length so that when you go to plant the potatoes, those shoots don't split off any longer than that, and you do have a danger of them just coming off when you go to plant them. Now, another benefit of chitting your potatoes is that they can be started into growth in warm and controlled conditions. Because what you don't always know is that when it comes time to plant the potatoes, it could be really damp and cold. And if that's the case, when you plant those potatoes, they're just going to sit there in cold, damp soil and not going to want to do anything. And if the conditions remain like that for any length of time, the potato could easily rot. So once you have your potatoes to this stage, they want to go in a cool but light area. A conservatory is ideal for this. I wouldn't leave them in here in our greenhouse because our greenhouse is unheated, and of course the temperature can go down and we're still getting quite severe frosts, and that will do the potato no good whatsoever. But it is important that it's somewhere light, and it is important that it's somewhere cool. So you don't want to be placing these in the airing cupboard or anything like that, or somewhere where it's 20 odd degrees, you know, a nice cool windowsill. Now, one of the things that people have said to me over the years is, why bother to chit? Farmers don't do it. Well, no, I would imagine they probably, in fact I know they don't. But if you think how many potatoes are planted in a potato field, where on earth are you going to find all the space to be able to put these potatoes out to chit them? What I do want to grow is things like brassicas, things like that for the autumn period, Chinese cabbage, pak choy, and all of these can follow these potatoes. Indeed, in some people's crop rotations, they'll grow something like Casablanca first early or a Charlotte second early, and that gives them enough time to then pop their leeks in, and leeks will then follow their potatoes. So, you know, for us in a smaller space, we want to be able to crop as much as we can out of that space. And by chitting your potatoes, they will come a couple of weeks earlier, and it will just give you that valuable time to get another crop in there and another great harvest before the end of the year. It's important when you do this that you know when your last frost date is, because that will determine when you need to kickstart these potatoes into life. It's going to take around about 6 weeks for these to chit away long enough so that you end up with shoots long enough to be able to plant them in the ground. Now, the other thing that I do that some people don't do is that I start all of my potatoes off at exactly the same time, and they'll all get planted at exactly the same time. What I have found over the years is that it makes no difference when you plant them. Some people say you want to be planting your first earlies around about March, second earlies towards the end of March, beginning of April, and your main crop mid to late April. For me, over the years, I found it makes absolutely no difference. All of these terms, all they mean is that the first early will grow very, very quickly and will be ready for a harvest, and it takes a little bit longer for the second earlies to produce their harvest, and a little bit longer still for the main crop to produce their harvest. So the only difference between the potatoes is the amount of time they're in the ground before they are ready for their maximum harvest. Hope you found this video useful, and if you have, please give us a like, and let me know what you're doing with your potatoes. Even if you're a non-chitter, let me know the reasons, because I don't know everything, and drop us a comment down in the comment box. If you've already started yours off, let me know how you do it, and yeah, I always love to get all of your questions after each video that I release. If you haven't already subscribed, we'd love you to subscribe to our channel. So if you feel so inclined to, please do so. And we shall see you on the next video.